to Web of Stories. My name is Melinda and I'm here to talk about my weekly reading. As usual, I have a vlog coming up that I've done throughout the week, and I will do today's entry at the end, or at least this first entry for today at the end. Couple apologies. I'm back and I'm a little crooked and a little higher than usual. I'm trying to do something different with my tripod, so sorry about that. Also, I'm back in the boring corner. I was gonna do this in the backyard, but it's raining, so I thought, oh, well, I'll do it in the front yard or in the front porch. I've tried to do that before and the light was wrong, but it's kind of overcast, so I could do that now. But the garbage trucks are going by. So for this video, you're gonna get the boring corner. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. So there you go. Secondly, I can't give you little cheers with my mug, but I will hold my mug up. Hold on a sec. I have my cat lover mug today. Again, because my tripod is higher than it usually is. But anyway, let's get into the vlog. I don't think this video is going to be as long, but we'll see. I always say that, and then it's always the same length. So we'll see how this turns out. And I'll be back at the end with like today's little entry and wrap up what I read this week. Hello all. It is the afternoon of Saturday, June 3rd. I just got back from running some errands with my daughter, and one of them, this morning I had my book club for the Murmur of Bees, so that was really good. I haven't been able to be with them for the last 2 months, so it was nice to be back. And then my daughter and I ran by the library so I could return the Murmur of Bees, but also to get the stuff for summer reading. She got a book. She got the Lore of Olympus book, which I kind of knew she would get because, you know, Greek mythology. I'm a little disappointed in the summer reading because, again, it's 2 summers ago when they did bingo for summer reading. It was all book focused. So read a book with a neurodiverse main character, or read a graphic novel, read a book with, you know, all things like that. And this time it's like book and experience. And I get it, because I think for adults, part of the goal with the adult summer reading is to keep them engaged with the library. But I want reading ones. Oh well, I'll still do this one. And then we went to Old Navy because my daughter's been begging to go to Old Navy because she has a gift card. So we went to Old Navy and she looked around and didn't see anything she wanted and said she wanted to go home. I, however, bought a bunch of stuff for her brother, so, you know, he scored. And then just like 2 stores up from Old Navy is one of the like newly remodeled Barnes & Noble. It actually moved to a new location and was remodeled, so it's one of the new ones. And I actually personally hate Barnes & Noble. I just do. But I went in anyway because I wanted to check it out. I don't buy books at Barnes & Noble. Usually don't buy books. I did buy a like a summer bridge to 7th grade workbook for my son. I could pay cash for it, which is good because I have an Amazon credit card and I have gotten yelled at by people at that store for using that card, which is really none of their business where my card is from. Also, my other thing with Barnes & Noble is Amazon gets blamed a lot for, you know, hurting independent bookstores. And to be fair, Amazon deserves some blame for that. But I always hear people complain about that, like Amazon's evil, Amazon's driving out independent bookstores. And then they say they're going to go to Barnes & Noble and buy books. Barnes & Noble probably has done more damage to independent bookstores than Amazon has, honestly. So I just find that very hypocritical. And why would I go to Barnes & Noble when I can go to Powell's? Powell's is a better bookstore anyway, and they're near Salt and Straw. So I probably won't ever go back into that Barnes & Noble, but yeah, whatever. I wanted to check it out and see what the new design was like. And it's good. It reminded me like a bigger version of, I don't know if you've ever had the opportunity to go. They don't have them anymore, but Amazon had brick and mortar stores for a little while. And they were bookstores for people who don't read, basically, is what it was. It was just all like eye-catching titles, everything face out. It was like a glorified airport bookstore. And so Barnes & Noble's like, just bigger. I'd much rather go to Powell's, which, you know, if I go to Powell's, I know that I can ask someone who works at Powell's to help me find a book or a book recommendation or something. I can't do that at Barnes & Noble. So anyway, sorry for all, if anyone works at Barnes & Noble. Maybe this is just my personal experience with Barnes & Noble, but it's not been good. But anyway, I did go there. I saw it. We left. I came home. So there we go. Just wanted to check in today. I'm about to settle down and do some reading. Hello. It's Sunday, June 4th. I'm about ready to sit down and do some reading. I finished Bad Kids finally, and I recorded a video review of it because it's a NetGalley book. You will have seen this by the time, seen the review if you watch all my videos by the time you see this, because it's going out on Thursday. Short, it's a book I could recognize that it is a very good book, but I did not enjoy it. It is not a book for me. That's all I can say. But anywho, that's one NetGalley thing off my list. So we'll see. I have a bunch of other books that I've been wanting to read, so I need to kind of get my TBR, not my TBR, my current reads list just keeps growing and growing. It's really, there we go. It's a little bit better next to the window. Yeah, I need to get that under control. But oh well, it's a beautiful day here in Oregon, and I'm starting to get little sprouts in at least one of the garden bags I planted. So I'm feeling like I can conquer the world now that I've like starting to grow stuff. But anyway, time to go read. Talk to you later. Good morning. I kind of look like crap. I wouldn't say I feel like crap, but I'm really tired. I didn't sleep well last night. I was gonna actually, once the kids got off to school, do a nappuccino, but my husband was still in bed, so he wouldn't have let me sleep. He would have like started talking to me, and yeah. So now I'm just drinking more coffee to try to stay awake. But yesterday, this is like not book related. I'm going to talk about television. Yesterday, I went to the gym for the first time in a long time, and I haven't been in a while because my knee was bothering me. My knee was feeling better, so I said, "Well, I'm going to go to the gym," and I did. And I came home, and my knee really hurt. So I had some TV time because I just needed to like kind of extend my leg out and rest it for a while. And my eyes were bothering me, so I wasn't going to read. I'd already read for quite a bit. So I finished the first season of Somebody Somewhere. I'm going to tell you again, watch that show. If you have HBO or Max or whatever, watch that show. That show is awesome. But then I wanted to spread it out, so I didn't go on to the second season yet. And I started watching the like new Duggar documentary. I'm not a reality TV show person. And the only time I ever really watched the Duggar show was when my daughter was really little, because she liked seeing other little kids, and there's a ton of little kids on that show, at least when she was little. So we turned it on. We did this for about 2 weeks until I was like, you know what? I'm really not liking the messages on this show. So then we found something else to watch. But yeah, that's kind of a wacko thing. It's weird because I actually have family members, extended family members, who have done that whole, like, what do they call it? The IBPL, whatever it is, that culty thing. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. I only watched like the first couple episodes, but I'll probably continue watching it. But anyhow, my leg is actually feeling better, strangely okay today. So I'm being careful with it. I do have to go grocery shopping, and I would still like to take a nap, but I've also had 2 cups of coffee. So I think I'm just going to be exhausted instead. I am going to go take a shower though. Maybe that'll make me feel better. Anywho, I will talk to you later. I just wanted to check in. Bye. Hello. Today is Wednesday, June 7th. Just got out of the shower. My son has early release today, so after he comes home, we're going to go to the library because I've got some holds to come in, and I'm going to make him sign up for summer reading. Mostly because I want the library to get credit for having him do summer reading, because that helps with their funding, but we'll see if it happens. I wanted to show you a book that I just got in. This was an impulse buy, but I'm looking forward to it. It's The Lost Journals of Sacajewea by Debra Magpie Earling, who is a Bitterroot Salish. Obviously, this is about Sacajewea on the Lewis and Clarke expedition. I'm looking forward to it. The June on the Range book that I am reading now is not living up to my expectations. So I hope this one does. Oops, hold on.
Doesn't know what to...
Guys, y'all got to hear Sue Jackson there. Because I hit the wrong thing and I had my computer up. So you just heard a little bit of Sue Jackson. Anyway, I just want to show this to you. I'm really looking forward to it. It's not very long. So yeah, this is what I think. I will start this probably after I finish my current book, because I should have time to finish that and read this before June 12th when I start The Lincoln Highway. So that's what's my reading. Those are my reading plans. So I'm back, and I'm not in the boring corner. Funny story. I did do a wrap up earlier this morning about everything I read, And when I was going through it again, I realized I left off like half the books that I'm reading. So do it again. The garbage truck is done. There's still traffic going on, so and it's raining rose petals. There's still traffic, so you might still hear cars, but we're gonna do the best we can because the boring corner is boring. Anywho, also, in the time since I first did my first recording for this wrap up, I finished a book. So I can now say I finished 3 books this week. I'll go through them. 2 of them I'm just gonna kind of touch on because one, there is a review out, a video review out, and one, there will be a video review out. The first one is Bad Kids by Zijin and Chen. I can't exactly remember what grade I gave it, but the video is up. I'll put a card up so you can see that video. This is a great book if you like the films of Quentin Tarantino. But there you go. That's pretty much my take on that one. It's a book that I could appreciate. The quality of the book was not for me. The second book that I finished was Where the Lost Wander by Amy Harmon. I picked this up because everything, when I say everything, I mean like Goodreads. And I believe the synopsis said it was an Oregon Trail story. It is not. It's an overland trail story. They're actually going to California, not Oregon. That's not a big deal. It's very highly rated. People love it. I did not. But video review of that coming out next week, so stay tuned for that. The third book I finished, which I just finished today, is this baby. Woo! East of Eden by John Steinbeck. I'm not going to do a video review of this. I'm not even going to post a review on Goodreads and oh, my cat's out there watching me. Goodreads and my blog or anything. I'm just going to talk a little bit about it. So I did this as a read along with Marcella and Aaron. I will tag their channels, a couple other people. This is only the second John Steinbeck book I've read. The first one was Travels with Charlie, which I love. Excellent audiobook with Gary Sinise narrating. And so I really wanted to dig into some of his longer work. And so it was either going to be this or Grapes of Wrath. So I was really happy when that read along came along. This is kind of a retelling. Well, it is a retelling. It's not kind of. It is a retelling of the story of Cain and Abel from the Bible. It's done incredibly well. I really enjoyed it. I was transported down to Salinas, California. Now there's bugs going everywhere. This is why I don't record outside, but it is pretty. I wish you could smell it because the roses are smelling great. Pollinators are out. Wonderful setting, beautiful prose. I gave it an A. I did not give it an A+ because it involves, there's a lot of time spent on another family in this book called the Hamiltons. And it's not that I dislike them. I actually was very entertained by them. They were an interesting family. I would have loved to have read more about them, but in their own book. I felt like it was just a little, there's already enough here. We didn't need all that extra story about this other family that doesn't really tie into things. So that's probably what kept it from being an A+ and only kept it an A. But I really enjoyed this one. I'm definitely going to read more John Steinbeck. I do have on my Kobo, I have some of his shorter fiction, and I have The Grapes of Wrath. I'll probably read The Grapes of Wrath soon. And then I did get the book by Sonora Babb. I can't remember the title of it now, but I have it. That Greg had supposedly talked about, which is like the woman who took notes and then her notes were given to John Steinbeck without her knowing it. And he used them to write The Grapes of Wrath, and then she couldn't get her book published. Whole thing. But I will hopefully be reading that at some point in the future. So I really enjoyed this one. A book for me. I know not everyone likes East of Eden, but I do. I do want to see the movie now. I think James Dean is in the movie. There might have been a more recent version with Gary Sinise, or maybe that was The Grapes of Wrath. I don't know. There might have been a more recent version, but I can only know of the one from the 50s with James Dean in it. But I want to see that. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere, so maybe I'll watch that this weekend. So those are the 3 books I finished. Now, I actually made a list of all the books that I am reading now because apparently I can't remember everything, which is a hint that I'm reading too many books. So, first of all, in print, I am reading, I just started this morning. Hold it up. The Lost Journals of Sacajewea by Debra, Magpie, Earling. Earling is a member of the Bitterroot Salish, so this is an Own Voices book. I've always been fascinated with the story of Sacajewea. We don't know very much about her, but she's so important to our history. For those of you who don't know, because maybe you aren't in the United States, so you don't know who Sacajewea is. I think most people know her as Sacajewea. I was actually told by, I believe, we were visiting somewhere and there was a member of the Sioux tribe. We were talking to them and he said that this is actually pronounced Sacajewea. So when Lewis and Clarke were commissioned by Thomas Jefferson to go to the Pacific Ocean, they hired a French trapper by the name of Toussaint Charbonneau. And Toussaint Charbonneau, really, there's no redeeming quality about this guy. I mean, he just is sort of a lump. He's a waste of flesh. There's something, he's completely non-memorable. Even in the journals of Lewis and Clarke, they talk about how useless he is. The only thing he had to offer was his wife, which was a young woman that he had married, a native woman named Sacajewea. And she's the one who basically got the Corps of Discovery to the Pacific Ocean. If it weren't for her, I think the United States would look very different now than it does. She really had quite a hand in shaping our nation. And very little is known about her, so this is an imagining of what her life was like. And I just started it today, and I think I'm really gonna like it. I really also appreciate this because one of my problems that I had with Where the Lost Wander was the depiction of Native peoples. So this is sort of an antidote to that. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, the next book I have in print was totally sort of an impulse one. I picked it up, like literally I was at the library and I walked by the shelf and I saw the spine and it caught my eye and I thought, it will be great for June on the Range. By the way, this is also for June on the Range because you can't get more Western than Lewis and Clarke. So I picked it up thinking, oh, I'm going to read this for June on the Range. It's not June on the Range, but it still was interesting. It's called The Pioneers, the heroic story of the settlers who brought the American ideal west, which sounds very June on the Range, except for this is set during George Washington's first term. So I don't think we can really call it a Western. And they're settling Ohio. Which at the point was the western border of the United States, but it's still not. It's not a Western, but it is really interesting. I have read 1776 by McCullough, and then he did the Corps of Discovery. He wrote a book on Lewis and Clarke, which I really enjoyed, and so I didn't even know he wrote this book, and I just came across it, and I was like, I need to read this. And so if you can see, I've kind of tabbed it out. I have a 21-day loan, so my plan is to read this in 20 days and return it on time without renewing it, which it's like 10 pages a day. It's not a big deal. So I'm enjoying this one. But again, I don't need to be reading so many books, so whatever. The next book. Okay, so then I have three ebooks actually going. The first one is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. According to my Kobo, I have 48 minutes left of this book, so I may be finishing it today. I hope so. Mostly because I have some library books I need to get to, and I need to finish this one first. But I'm enjoying it. It's very interesting. It's different than what I thought it would be. I am not going to, even though we're past May, I originally picked it up I picked it up for two reasons. The immediate reason was Mental Health May. So it's kind of fitting that I didn't finish it in May because the more I read of it, the less it kind of felt like a mental health book, even though it's set into mental hospital and all the characters in it have some form of mental illness. I don't know how accurate the depictions of either the mental illnesses or the hospital setting is in this book. I will say that. I think that Ken Kesey was trying to say something different, and that's fine. But I'm just going to say I'm not counting this one as a belated mental health May book at this point. But I am really enjoying it. I'm still planning to do my little biblio adventure at some point, hopefully in June. So there'll be a vlog for that. The next one that I am reading is a NetGalley arc, and it's The Girls on Chalk Hill by Alison Belsham. This is a British crime mystery. I would say it probably qualifies a mystery thriller. It's the first of the series, centered around a detective. She's just moved back to her hometown, and she's out for a run, and she comes across, there's like, you know how sometimes they put like on the sides of mountains like these chalk letters to say like I don't know, for wherever, University of Montana, I think it's Bozeman, maybe, I don't know. I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm not right on that one. But they have those letters on the hill. Well, there's one there for the town that she lives in, which starts with a W. And she notices something on there, so she runs over to see what it is, and it's the bodies of 2 girls. And she finds out very quickly that these 2 girls are 2/3 of a set of identical triplets. They don't know where the 3rd triplet is. And the reason this is important is because when she was a teenager, she is one of a set of identical triplets, and she and her 2 sisters were kidnapped. This is all on the back of the book, so I'm not spoiling anything. And she and one of her sisters escaped. The other sister didn't. They don't know what's happened to her. They're assuming she's dead. But then she's wondering, okay, are these 2 related? It's really fast paced. It's will definitely get your butt. I keep watching cars go by. Definitely get your blood pumping. It reminds me a lot of like a British crime TV show. It's just got that kind of pace and that sort of feeling, and I'm really enjoying it. I will say I'm having, and I will hold this to myself. I'm going to be vague about it right now, because I am actually going to do a video review of this when I'm finished. There's one thing that I kind of am having to suspend my disbelief about, because I'm just like, I'm not quite sure this would happen. But anyway, so far I'm really enjoying it. So hopefully I'll be done with that one soon. I'm actually flying through it pretty quickly. And then my last ebook is on the Serial app, and it is 12 Years a Slave. I'm still behind, but I'm still plugging away at it. I just think it's a really important book to read. I think slave narratives are just important to read. I have read slave narratives. I lots of times have trouble reading slave narratives because they're transcriptions of interviews, and it's written out phonetically, so it's hard to kind of understand what's being said. But Solomon Northup was a free black man who was kidnapped and sold into slavery, and he was literate, and he's very eloquent. This is very easy to read in that way, and he's writing very well. There's a couple times where I'm like, there's not really a spoiler issue with this book, but the one slave owner he has, who is a Baptist minister, an enslaver. I guess slave owner is, I just found this out yesterday. Slave owner is not a preferred term anymore. You want to use the term enslaver. His enslaver is a Baptist minister, and Solomon Northup says about his enslaver, he's just one of the best men I knew. He's just a little blind on this point. And I'm sitting here thinking, he has enslaved you. How can you sit here and say he's such a nice guy? But anyway, that's the thing. I think it's an important book to read. The movie, which I have seen, is very good. The book is, in events, it kind of gets away from the events of the book, but the spirit is there. And then I have an audiobook, which I will be finishing tonight or tomorrow, definitely, because my book club is tomorrow. And this is the audio reread of Clarke and Division by Naomi Hirahara. I really enjoyed this book when I read it, and I'm still enjoying it, but I do not like the narrator on the audiobook. If I were listening to it without having had read it, I would have DNF'd it because of the narrator. So I don't recommend the audiobook of that. It's fine now because it's like just refreshing me with the story. And actually that's really good, because not only do I have my book club, but the next book in the series, so these characters have a second book coming out in, I think, August. So it'll be nice and fresh for it. And then finally, I have, I forgot to hold up when I'm reading One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I have a print copy of this, even though I'm reading it on my Kobo. This is for my keeper shelf, because I already know it's going to go on my keeper shelf. So there you go. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But finally, my book, and I haven't been reading this, but I'm going to start it up again, is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Again, reading this on my Kindle, so this is just for show. It's going to go on my keeper shelf. I had to put it aside when I was reading East of Eden, just because I had so many books going, but now that I'm done with East of Eden, I'm going to pick this one up and get back to this. So we'll see. I'm hoping to be done by the end of the summer, if not sooner. So that is what's going on. It's starting to get a little noisy out here, and I hope this video isn't too noisy. It probably would have been better if I had been able to tape a little bit earlier in the day, but I needed my daughter's help. She's here, she's over there. Help setting everything up, and so now it's just a little noisy. So I don't know if I'm gonna be taping out here again, but it's pretty, it's not boring, and it smells nice. So anyway, if you made it all the way through, thank you very much. Please give me a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.